the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't missing my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu, and I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody south the Capitol Hills rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and plan to getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. Me, I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
That Dre season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it
I
for
hate these
us.
average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my own flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete. I'm a verbal athlete, deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building. My whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
Welcome, Grand Rising, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I am your co-host, Trey Holiday, and we want to welcome you to an amazing Monday morning here. I got a morning muse for you. Have you ever just been driving and it's raining and people's windshield wipers are going way faster than yours? I don't know, maybe it's objective, but in my head, I'm thinking, wait a minute, it's just a sprinkle. You know what I mean? Calm it down. Anyway, what's up? Got to bring in my guy, Big O.
Yeah. First of all, I walk everywhere I go.
Right.
So I mean, I'm
Well, see, as a pedestrian, you may even be able to appreciate it more because you're like, man, I don't even got an umbrella, and your windshield wipers are doing this. Like,
No,
it's a real heavy rain.
let me tell you something, man. I mean, it's shifting. I don't know about the windshield wipers for sure. Shifting demographics here in the city, because I remember being, you know, a teenager and college age, you know, 20s, 30s, but that, you know, you was unfazed by the rain. Like, we'd sit outside a nightclub, you know what I'm saying, in the rain, waiting to get in, long line in the rain, everything else, you know. And I remember one time I was taking an Uber, and what the Uber driver was saying was that, you know, it's always a big surge here in price because of the rain, because there's so many people who ain't grow up in the rain. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Uber was here like 10, 20 years ago, like, it wouldn't be a surge. People are just like, I'm walking in the rain.
Right. Yeah. You're so right about it, man. They always say you can tell a true Seattleite because they don't even own an umbrella as much as they say that we're the
I
rainy
ain't got
city.
no umbrella.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's true. All right. Good morning, everybody. We got a great show on tap for you here in the morning update show. We're joined by Sean Goode, the executive director of 180. But you know what? He comes on here once a month, the second Monday of every month. And it's just coming to bring a little bit of good news, update us on some stuff. And, something me and him both can appreciate. Baseball's on the way back.
There we go.
No, for sure. And we got my brother, Kaka Mambo VP. Habari za asubuhi. Haya, karibu ofisini na Black Media Mada Studio. Haya basi. Leo mimi kusema Kiswahili kidogo sana. Jana, kusema Kiswahili mzuri sana kabisa. What I said is today I just speak a little bit of Swahili, but yesterday, meaning like years ago, my Swahili was so good. Joined by Simon Okello, who is an executive producer over at One Vibe Africa and also an author. He's coming to share with us. This is my Kenyan brother.
I love it.
It. Oh, man. You're very welcome here, bro. Anytime somebody say, if you know me, that'd be the biggest part of my day. I bump into somebody who speaks Swahili, you can't get rid of me. I'm like, oh man, let's talk.
I've experienced it. He's telling the truth, y'all. He's really telling the truth.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show one more time. I want to remind you, right now is the perfect time for you to tag and share the stream. I was supposed to change my hat. Ooh. Tag and share the stream with people you feel would appreciate culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Want to give a big shout out to our partners over to South Seattle Emerald and also KBCS 91.3 over at Bellevue College. Reminding everybody you can listen to the Morning Update Show anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. Salman's got SoundCloud right there, but you can also catch us on Google, Spotify, and iTunes. So, Simon, today after the show, it's going to be up on SoundCloud, so you can also share that link as well. I know Simon's a podcaster as well. This is the time in the show where we share a link Salman's putting in there. This is hereforuswa.org, hereforuswa.org. There's a lot of things happening around COVID and the vaccine and rules and everything else. Do you wear the mask? Do you not wear a mask? Do you still need a vaccine? We've got culturally relevant, culturally curated information there for our community at hereforuswa.org.
Yeah, this has been really interesting to see it play out over the weekend. I got to spend some time in some public spaces over the weekend and seeing, how it's a variant, right? You're already seeing like some people are still feeling comfortable with their mask. Some are not, but the ideas of that loosening of the mask mandate is released really. And so, you don't see like, I wasn't walking into spaces and seeing the big bowl of like mask or even the signs, like you got to wear your mask in order to enter. So we're seeing already the changes.
Yeah, something kind of not related, but I got to say this because I was looking up there at the monitor. Woo, you popping in that blue. I'm like, man, do we need a color wave change over here? Because that blue is dope.
You know what? Shout out to our brother over there, Debonair Decor, doing it big time. Always got me fitted right.
Definitely. And since you mentioned Debonair Decor, let me just say this is what a great opportunity. Come downtown, go into Pacific Place. You know what I'm saying? Support this brother, Debonair Decor, down there in Pacific Place Mall. So if you come downtown, you can make that on your stop. Pacific Place is real convenient. You can move around. There's also a gallery in there as well, right?
Yeah, Wow Art Gallery. Shout out to those guys over there doing it big, Hiawatha. Honestly, they really have done so many great things with the space. It's beautiful. If you haven't had a chance to go down there, please check out that art from Hiawatha D.
All right. Yep. Pacific Place. So here's the thing. So circling, don't worry, Simon. We're gonna let you know it's gonna be a commercial play and everything. You're gonna see your picture on the screen. I'm gonna say something about a handcrafted motion graphic. You see Sean Goode's over there, like do. He's done it before, so don't worry. Be easy. What was I getting ready to say? Circling Seattle Sports. So here it is right here. Circling Seattle Sports. So my son, Omi, is studying broadcasting out there at Loyola University in Chicago. And he's partnered with Charles Hamaker and Bennett. I don't forget Bennett's last name. their show, their podcast, Circling Seattle Sports, over 150 episodes in. Like, these guys are big sports nuts, everything else. They moved Circling Seattle Sports from podcast, not moved it. It's in addition to, it's the video version. And the video version of Circling Seattle Sports has been here on Converge for months, 4 months. You know how we do here. We just be shooting in the gym. We stay shooting in the gym. And man, we've taken it across platform. Right. And so I think last week was the first week across platform. We got good response right here. And I was supposed to play this last week. I forgot to send it to you for what people can look forward to, a preview for this week. But here's Charles Hammaker. And like I said, Circling Seattle Sports. I'm so proud of these young people. And actually, Charles, who you'll see here, went to high school, went to O'Day with my son, and to see how these guys in their own space, their own lane. I don't tell them nothing. I don't do nothing. Salman is the director over there. We'll play this short clip.
Some important stuff coming up for you next week. We'll hear about franchise tags, transition tags potentially. Seattle has a quarterfinal matchup, like one of that quarterfinal matchup against Club Leon, and another chance against the LA Galaxy to get a win in the MLS. The Kraken have some big games against teams in Canada. And get two of their best players back off of injured reserve. The Reign continue their preseason down in Portland, and then the Seawolves have a big tilt against Houston in a Western Conference matchup. With that being said, we'll get Belle Garcia back for you next week. Will be to the right of me, as she always is. That will be, what is that going to be, on the 14th of the month, I'm going to say? Yes, I would be right about that. I can do math.
Oh my goodness. It's so great to see. Look at him right there. Chuck, our guy. You know what? The thing is that I love it because they come in, I get to see them in transition, but to see it right there on the big screen here in the Black Media Matter studio, it looks so great. It's crisp.
They're cross-platform.
I love the lighting too. Great job.
Yeah, like someone be doing the most for everybody else. I wonder what's going on. But that's so. First of all, so Circling Seattle Sports. You saw Charles Hammaker right there, but co-host is Belle Garcia. So it's Charles and Belle. And, you know, the thing is, in true Converge fashion, these guys, they cover all the big sports that people hear. You know, you hear about the Seahawks and the Mariners. But, man, where they really shine is their comprehensive coverage of other sports like women's soccer and rugby and all kinds of other things that are happening out here. So they're shining with that. So we want to support that. Circling Seattle Sports. Every Monday, 4 p.m. Also, follow on Instagram. Like, if you're like a sports head out there, the Instagram is off the chain. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, I need a follow from you too, Simon. Circling Seattle Sports. Go ahead and give them a follow right there. You know what I'm saying? They keep it real active on the feed.
I love it, man. You know, this is something that I think is near and dear to me, as I have a student athlete myself. And so when, you know, knowing that these young people are pouring their passion into something, they care about it. It's clear they come and they're organized every single week. So shout out to you guys, everybody on the team. It's looking great.
All right. Good stuff. You know, we don't usually repeat stuff too much, but you talked about this on Friday, but I was there on Thursday when we're talking about the beloved King County campaign. Beloved, this is the gun violence disruption campaign that we're very proud to partner with. And they're going a different approach on this. They're treating gun violence, you know, as a sickness, and how do we treat that? And also they're engaging in community through art, through culture, through history, everything else. Well, I popped up there on Thursday, and before we play this, I want to preface this, that me and my trusty iPhone, and by the way, Converge as far as video started on the iPhone, right? The Camera Phone Collective, we couldn't afford no cameras 5 years ago, and so we did everything on the iPhone, and I just never stopped. These guys saw mine, these Black Magic cameras and Sony XYZ. I'm sure Simon has something crazy over there. Look at Ali, she's got some big, huge thing. Everything I've ever put out has been on my iPhone. Also, some of our most watched segments, by the way. Also, we have an iPhone sitting over in Mohi. Anyways, I say all that to say this, is that once again, the Camera Phone Collective strikes up there on Capitol Hill at 206 Liminal Studios. And I caught up with my buddy, Eric Calligraphy, at Rose and Collage.
What's up, everybody? This is Eric Calligraphy, the co-founder, co-creator, and creative director of the Beloved King County campaign. Welcome to 206 Liminal Studios for the Roses and Collage Interactive Art Activation. There's 1,500 roses here, a rose for every shot fired last year. We have hung these roses up in remembrance of some of the people we lost, and some of the people that have been injured, and all the people that were in danger of a shot fired. Roses are beautiful, man. Roses are an act of kindness, an act of love, and you can give a rose to somebody at any time, it'll make them smile. Now, can you imagine that if every shot fired was an actual positive interaction between 2 people, 3 people, 4 people? Instead of ducking a gunshot, you were getting a rose to say that you're amazing. And that's what this activation is about. The Beloved campaign is an anti-gun violence campaign where we are shifting the narrative of how we deal with gun violence. We usually talk about gun violence as a criminal action or a charge, but we are looking at it more as a disease, as a sickness that we can get better from if we use the proper medication.
Great work. Camera Phone Collective does it once again. Oh, and honestly, this is something that I'm glad we're actually playing again. The ideas of how the Beloved campaign is taking something that is so, honestly, has so much negative connotation with it when we talk about gun violence, but they're treating it in this very artistic, creative way and fashion, something I can truly appreciate. I told Eric, I said, man, 1,500 roses. I said, that is an amazing concept.
Yeah, no, real deal. And I mean, what we're hearing there is a lot of what we're also hearing from different community members at different levels around this issue. When we talk about gun violence as a whole being a public health emergency, when you hear somebody like Councilmember Zahalai saying that, when you hear guys talking about the act of committing gun violence, something is definitely wrong.
Yeah,
something is 100% wrong. And a lot of conversation and ways that we've approached this that a few years ago might have seemed fringe, is now people I think are really understanding and wanting to get to the roots of things. So big shout out over there to everybody at Beloved King County. You go to belovedkingcounty.com and check that out. Lots of activations coming up, and just the way that they're engaging community. And that was a real special space to be in right there too. I took some pictures in the roses, but it's for my collection. You know what I'm saying? Do we got time? Yes, we do. I guess we'll fit this in here, and then we're gonna go straight to break after this, and then we'll come back real quick. Baseball season it's underway. It was a lot of back and forth contracts, everything else. You know what I'm saying? Lockout, but it looks like baseball's underway. I know you're gonna bring that up with Sean Goode, but we found something here. In honor of baseball season getting ready to, it was in doubt, you know what I'm saying? In honor, we went back in the time machine to last year what we did with Baseball Beyond Borders, and this was the power of our presence. It's through baseball, when we talk about equality and justice here in America, we have to remember that baseball carried that load, and also we have to remember what Black America gave up. We gave up the only sport we ever owned. We gave up key economic drivers. These amazing teams with these classic uniforms and field stadiums that we owned. We gave up a whole infrastructure, because guess who made the uniforms? Black people. Guess who sold the concessions? Black people. Guess who sold the tickets? Black people. So Jackie Robinson go play there in the majors. And now integration's here, but this storied history of Negro League baseball perished. We gave up the only sport we ever owned just so we could say that we were equal.
Everybody played baseball. Many a days you just ride your bike to the ballpark and have your game.
And man, the park would be full. The whole community would be out there. And maybe you get the Frontiersmen, playing the Pirates and the Padres. Everybody's in the park. Hey, Nevada, swing!
We had such a bond of unity, and it was such a joy, especially at the All-Star time of the year, representing our community. And sadly, that's been lost.
Growing up in New York is like going up the block. It was like you didn't see no baseball games in Brooklyn going up the block. Like to see a baseball game in New York, you either had to go to like an actual professional game or you're going to like somebody's high school. The reason why I started playing is because everybody from my basketball team played baseball in the summer. But then again, as we got older and stuff started getting more serious, I wouldn't see anybody like me. So even when I got up to college, I played at St. John's University. I think maybe it was like me and this other kid who was black.
A lot of black kids just stopped playing baseball for a lot of different reasons. And what Baseball Beyond Borders is doing is really taking these young people, and their approach is holistic.
We as the elders in the community have a responsibility to help mold these young people. There's not just the baseball, softball, volleyball component. There's the moving beyond 12 component, and that's totally off-field stuff.
We are trying to get these kids the same access as everybody else into the same schools. It's not just about sports, it's about education, it's about community building, it's about uplifting others.
These are neighborhood guys and gals that come together and trying to do something for young people in the community. And as usual, when things start in the community, they're under-resourced. They never really have the budget, never really have the equipment, never really have the transportation. But the legacy of our community is where there's a will, there's a way, and they continuously make good things happen. But we need to lighten the load. I mean, there's a role for everybody, though, so people can share on the internet, tell the story. So many things people can do to be supportive, but let's just do that, support. That's right, lighten the load. Baseball Beyond Borders, our partners over there. But yeah, baseball is back. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, there he is. Simon Okello, Executive Director, One Vibe Africa, is coming to the scene. Also, big shout out here real quick. We see we're getting a lot of love from down there in Belize City. Just want to say hello. Can't wait to get back there. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it could do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
And there we go. Look, Simon said, I'm always ready. Welcome back to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday. And joining me right now is our brother from One Vibe Africa. We got Simon Okello in the building. What's up, Simon?
Nice to see you, my dear. Nice to see you. I'm just so excited to be here. This is a privilege. It's one thing to talk about Converge Media, but it's another thing to be inside Converge Media.
Well, you know what? We're so glad that you support us. We really thank you for that. But you've been doing some things, moving and shaking in community, and so I'm so glad that you're here so we can talk a little bit more about you. Tell us about your connection to One Vibe Africa. What got you thinking this is something that's necessary?
Thank you so much. I was raised in Kisumu, Kenya. Kisumu is the third largest city in Kenya. And in 2007, we had an election, a national election, similar to when Trump and Hillary were competing with each other. And it was completely disputed, similar to the one here in the US when Joe Biden and Trump were competing against each other. But the case with Kenya, people started killing each other. The people that lost did not accept the defeat because it was stolen from them. And so people went on rampage for months. And so One Vibe Africa organized a concert to bring people together right after the violence, And since then, we've been producing events, bringing our community together, training young people how to mobilize and organize events with a similar purpose, inspiring each other, replacing guns with guitars and microphones,
I love it. I mean, you and I connected in community around the need for us to be having more dialogue between all of our folks from the African diaspora and African Americans. And I think your events really help to spark a lot of that discussion. How do you see these events also playing a role in that kind of larger theme of us connecting as Black people globally?
It's really important for us to have spaces where we can express ourselves, because if you look at music, for example, and arts, the Black nation worldwide, whether it's African Americans or Africans or Afro-Brazilians, music is one of the ways that we express ourselves the best, but also it's one of the values we bring to the world, And so these events allow us to express ourselves musically. For example, Madaraka Festival, bringing, African and African-American artists to perform on one stage, to produce an event together. It's challenging, but I think if we can do small things together, then we can even run countries together.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think sometimes it's the space of connectivity, but it's also that open opportunity for real dialogue, right? Across cultures, across us understanding that connection. But when you talk about, bringing all these artists together, I mean, this means that you have to have a really wide network, Simon.
Yes.
We talk about the fact that artistry oftentimes thinks it kind of has this backbone of family, right? And so we talk about it locally, internationally, but there's this idea that look, I got to know the right people. I got to know the players in this space in order to bring them to the forefront, because really the acts bring the audience. How do you deal with that and really organize these major events and concerts?
That's a really good question. For me, first, I identify people that can mentor me in communities that I'm new in. For example, I just moved to Seattle in 2010, and one of the people that have always been on their case is Omari, who runs Converge Media. And I intentionally asked him, I want you to mentor me, So I feel that the way he treats me is to help me be able to run One Vibe and Madaraka Festival long term. In Kenya, I have Boniface Mwangi, who is one of the most awarded photographers in Africa. He's a journalist as well, and also a politician, and he mentors me as well. So I look for mentors who have done major things than myself, and I tell them my biggest challenges, and they give me, they guide me. But also, I just find ways of taking care of myself and training other people, knowing that this is a marathon. I can't do it on my own. I can't do it in 1 year or 2 years. But what is it that I can do to inspire you so that when I can't do it, then you take it over and do it and then pass it on to your kids. And we keep it in our community over decades.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think so that's so important to our work. I mean, everything we do, I tell my sons all the time that, there's foundations being set for the torches to be passed. And
True.
sometimes we talk about it in American Black communities. I think a lot of folks are like, well, there was a generation that didn't really want to pass the torch. I was just having those conversations in community this weekend, and talking to younger people than myself who are now seeing me and saying, well, I need to learn from you. And I'm like, I'm still
Right.
learning. But
Right.
the idea is that we have to be able to pass that knowledge down is so key. But I also think too, honestly, Simon, you know about this. I mean, it comes from the original communities that we come from. We were really village mentality minded, right? Like that was how we moved. We understood everybody here has a role to play. And I think that really suits us well when we start to reconnect with those ideals. How do you feel now being here since 2010? The Seattle climate has changed a lot, but how has your childhood from Kenya really been able to kind of ground you here in Seattle?
This is part of why I love African proverbs, because again, as you're saying, we are very village oriented people. One of the things that helped me ground myself in Seattle, even though I'm far from Kenya, is researching and compiling African proverbs and sharing it with people. Organizing African dinners, like for example, this Sunday and almost every Sunday we are doing them here in community. For example, at Kezira Cafe and at Cafe Avol. So I feel that is how I bring my childhood and myself fully to Seattle, sharing the depth of our culture, but also being willing to humble myself and know that I do need to learn something here. So for me, I just like you, I feel like I'm more of a student still about Seattle, and I feel like I'm on the right path because I feel like I'm talking to the right people. But it's going to take time. It's going to take time for us to have an impact, because for me, Seattle and Kenya are like the home base, but we want to have a global impact. We want our work to impact people in Belize, where you guys were. I saw the videos and I was just so inspired by everything you all do.
Well, that really means a lot. And I know that you're really doing your part to also continue that inspiration. I mean, when you talk about Kenya, I was in Kenya for a while. I was in Mombasa. And Mombasa is the sister city to Seattle.
That's true.
And the idea is that we have these opportunities to really close in on this large globe that we have to explore by having those kinds of connections as Mombasa, as our sister city. It's an opportunity for us to be able to build the bridges. So I love that you're doing that. And I see you now have a book here. You know what I mean? So now you put it in book form.
Yes.
Some of the things that you're working on and have done. Tell us about this book.
So this book, it's called Rooted in Love. And this book is a collection of pictures from Seattle and from Kenya. It's a collection of stories from Seattle and Kenya primarily. And it's also, it has a fictional essay, a fictional story of a little girl that benefited from the work that I have been doing with One Vibe Africa since 2008, And if you look at this book, you'll find pictures of individuals like Yirim Sek, who grew up in the Central District. I went to Kenya with him a few years ago. We have stories of people like Njuguna Wagishuru, he lives in Skyway and he's part of the first generation Kenyans in this region. You find stories of Jonathan Cunningham, who works for the Seattle Foundation. And you find stories of Grammy-nominated artists and Grammy-winning artists like Rocky Dauni. All of these people have been to Seattle from Ghana and Senegal, and they've interacted with the work that One Vibe Africa is doing. But all these events benefit real people here in the community and also in Kenya. Sometimes the benefit is just by giving you a connection, but sometimes the benefit is life-changing, where you create somebody a job opportunity, you create somebody a completely life-changing opportunity where an artist who never even knew they could perform alongside a Grammy award-winning artist find themselves producing a project together with such an artist just by way of working together for One Vibe Africa. So this book is just, it's a book to remind us that we all can make a difference no matter where we are. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to know you can make a difference, spend a night with a mosquito in a room together. The mosquito will give you sleepless nights that you learn that you can actually make a difference even if you have little resources. So that's what this book is all about.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Spend the night with a mosquito.
Yes.
They will keep you up all night and you will know how to make a difference.
Yes.
This is really I'm so glad that you've been able to, create this book and really put the experiences of One Vibe Africa as well as those stories. Grew up with Yidam. I know Jaguna. I mean, I love hearing, people's names that not only do I recognize, but I know them, and I know them to be good human beings out here doing great things with their lives and really inspiring others. I mean, I got to ask, because I think when I think about even the title of One Vibe Africa, right? The in name, it can mean so many different things.
True.
And, there is a lot of different groups out here that are working on, whether it's liberation from a global perspective, really looking at it locally and moving out globally, whether it is, housing insecurity or arts and culture. Clearly, One Vibe is really centered around these curated events. But what was it for you that made you say events are the way? Because I think that too, I've seen you do talks. You guys are doing other things as well. But tell us about how that spirals out from events to having other touch points in community.
Right. Events bring people together. If you can bring people together, then you can mobilize people to do something, So behind the events, there's actually a mentorship program that is happening where we are teaching young people how to produce these events, because it's not easy to produce events. And outside of our community, people are being paid so much money to produce. Even this is an event. This show is an event. And there are people behind the camera as well being paid a lot. We need more of our community members doing this kind of things daily and, getting out of the 9-to-5 grind so that we have the time to build our own communities, So for me, the events allow us to teach young people how to produce events, how to produce content, how to convince their community members to show up. If you can show up for an event, you can show up for a rally. If you can show up for an event, you can show up to vote. If you can show up for an event, you can learn how to fundraise to produce that event, which means you can fundraise to build a school, to build a road, to build a bridge, So we just inspire young people to know that if there's a problem in your community, organize an event, bring people together and solve it. Don't wait for people with a lot of money to solve it for you. If you can solve it in a small way, when other people come, they're partners, you have a say in solving your own problem. But if some other people from outside your community come to solve it for you, they will have a say in how you solve your own problem. And that's a problem.
And that's a problem in and of itself. Simon, I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. And I'm so glad that you are really here in Seattle, making your mark here with these amazing events. How does it feel for your family back home, right? For the people that know you from Kenya to see you doing this now. Tell us that.
Luckily, I've really stayed engaged with Kenya and Africa in general. That's part of why, my podcast, African Father in America podcast, every day we have a show, Monday to Friday. It's called the Daily African Proverbs. We get proverbs from way back and we bring people together to discuss them daily. And there are people from Kenya there, including people who work for One Vibe, students that work for that benefit from One Vibe, community members in South Africa, Ghana, Jamaica. They attend this and it's like a daily staple for people. So I've stayed in touch that way, but also I go back every year back home and I plan a trip where I also travel with especially African American brothers and sisters. And for me, when I go back home, people feel like I've always been there because of all the things I do constantly. And I also involve people there I've organized for artists from there to be here, artists from Togo to be here in Seattle, from Nigeria. So if I go to Nigeria, they'll feel like I've always been there, you know. So for me, the goal is for all of us to find ways of engaging constantly with what's going on in the continent remotely, so that if you go there, you know, you can claim something. And all people can claim you, you know.
I definitely got that. As soon as I touched down, I was somebody's daughter. Absolutely. And I was like, yes, I was here for it all, right? And so I can't wait to go back. I'll be checking in with you because I want to take my sons. I mean, I think that that's something that when we start giving that experience to younger people, they really get to see themselves outside of this American context. And it was so eye-opening for me, and I was already an adult by the time I went. So I can only imagine that impact it has on children. Simon,
Before we finish,
I was going to say one more thing. Go
I
ahead.
want to make sure you know how amazing you are. Like I watch this show a lot, and I just want you to know that the work you do is truly appreciated, at least by me, who understands the sweat that goes into doing such things. And then lastly, I'll leave a few copies of Rooted in Love so that, you know, over the next few days, you guys can gift them to some of our community members. Thank you.
Simon, thank you. Thank you for that love offering of this book right here, Rooted in Love. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
If people want to connect with you in One Vibe Africa, you can look right there. Let the people know how they connect and tap into what you have going on.
The best way to connect with me personally is through my Instagram, which is at Okelo Javan. And also my website is simonjavanokelo.com. You know, and check out African Father in America podcast across all podcasting platforms. That's another way to listen to, you know, some of our thoughts and perspectives. Thank you so much.
Simon, so glad that you could join us today here on the Morning Update Show. Thank you for the work you're doing. We definitely appreciate it. And I'm glad we were able to bring you here to make sure our audience knows about all the great things you have going on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, man, you guys already know this Monday is starting off with some amazing, great energy here. We're going to keep those good vibes going with our brother after this short break. Sean Goode is going to be joining us with some good news as always. Can't wait to dive in with my brother right after this. Stay tuned. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Hi, this is Robert Battle, Artistic Director of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, and we're thrilled to be performing live on stage again. Come see the extraordinary Ailey dancers during my 10th anniversary season and enjoy some wonderful new work, plus returning audience favorites, including Revelations. Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. And as you can see right there, we showed that commercial break early on in the show, but I actually get to be with Sean Goode twice today. Later on tonight at 8 p.m., you guys join us right here on Converge Media to hear about Mr. Sean and Kimberly Goode's love story. This whole week at 8 p.m., I get to sit down with couples and really inspire you all with the stories of their love. So as always, welcome, Sean Goode.
Well, thank you. And thanks for having my my wife and I here tonight.
Yeah.
Not only is 8 o'clock like really close to my bedtime, so I'm absolutely taking a nap before I show up here, right? Like I am super excited to have folks be able to experience the magnificence of my wife. So often folks get me because I'm so face forward, but really like the secret sauce of it all is my gift from God. And I can't wait to introduce her to the Converge world.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. I said, look, my fingers were crossed. Please, Dr. Kim, please say yes, because I really wanted to launch this pilot with someone who is always talking about their spouse and their wife in the way that you do. And honestly, it's always inspiring when you're here on these Mondays that I get to dive in with you, but you always have that beautiful message for your wife. So I was like, you know what? You actually helped to inspire the reason for the show. I said, we need to showcase that more. And also it is really producing a counter narrative to this ideas of broken Black families. So let's show them, let's flood the market with all of these amazing Black stories. So thank you so much.
Well, it's an honor. Thank you for creating the platform.
Of course. And you know what? I mean, Blue is over now. The last day was on Saturday, but I heard that you went there and you got to see this amazing Black opera. Man, I was blown away, brother.
Yeah, shout out to Converge family for making that happen. My wife and my daughter and I went and saw Blue, and it was a lot. Like it was a lot. There's so much I could say, but to be able to be in an opera that's produced by Black folks with Black voices telling Black stories. I mean, Black media does indeed matter. But the depth of that storyline as a father of a Black child, oh my goodness. Like there were moments that were really awkward for me because people were applauding the performance because it was a really strong and beautiful performance. But at the same time, it was really somber for me experiencing this as a Black man with a Black son and knowing these conversations that I've had with others and the tension that I hold from within my being. I was sharing with O before the show today. I have actually thought about how I would respond to my son being killed, to my son dying before me. I've actually thought about how I would process that through. And I don't know if dads from dominant culture actually have to consider that, but that's just part of being the father to Black sons.
I'm gonna tell you right now, as a mother of Black sons, same thing, brother.
Yeah.
And I've been talking about this, but I'll say the biggest takeaway for me was it is a predominantly white space. And you have these patrons of the opera that maybe they got season tickets. They just come to every opera that comes to Seattle. Maybe they don't really even know the backstory till they get there. Maybe they do, and that's why they're there. But just the ideas of this super Black, I'll say hella Black message, right? Black message being permeated through that audience. That for me, I went on opening night, brother, and I'll tell you the people that were just sniffles, and I mean the lady next to me was bawling, right? These ideas that it was hitting them so hard. I said, this is actually pure genius because we can have it flooding on media all the time. You see these stories of police violence hitting Black families and predominantly hitting Black men, right? You see this, this is not a new message,
right.
But in this space, it carries a different tone.
Yeah. And my hope is though, Trey, is that it helps people get from a place of affinity to complicity.
Yeah.
Because dominant culture has been consuming Black art for as long as we've been creating art and then co-opting it and making it their art and saying that they came up with something. Right. And so I need folks from dominant culture to not just appreciate, not to become emotionally invested, not to become relationally connected to it because of the way they felt in this moment, but become complicit, become actively engaged in the struggle of those who are most distant from power and those who are most proximate to the pain points. That's what we need. We need more complicit folks from dominant culture. So today in the chat box, if you're there, put your email in, share it out for everybody. If you want to become complicit with the struggle of people who are most distant from power and positionality and most proximate to the pain points, sign up. We need complicit actors and not just those that find themselves with affinity towards Black art, Black culture, and Black struggle.
Oh my, tell it like it is, brother, every single time. Well, another point here that you want to make is apparently King County is cultivating some things. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, there was a study that was commissioned by folks from the county around wage inequity in the nonprofit sector. And I know, wait for it, Converge family, this is going to surprise you, but they've discovered that nonprofit wages were low and they weren't providing people a living wage. Now, I got questions. Like, how much did they pay to convene a study to say what it is that we already know to be true? Like right now, do I need a study to say that it's raining outside, or I just walk outside and get rain on me and say, look, it's raining? I don't need a weatherman for that, or weather person, or weather individual. Look, what I know is that historically nonprofits have been paying less than a living wage, and we can feel it, those of us that are served in those spaces. But now there's a study that's been produced to validate what it is that we've all been experiencing, so we can celebrate that as good news, because people love a good study. Because folks need to be affirmed that people who don't have not just because they're lazy. They don't have not just because they're not willing to work hard or go to college and get grandiose degrees. They actually don't have because they're operating in a sector that doesn't honor their labor in the way that it should. And so I just want to celebrate this report coming out. And then subsequent to that, the Seattle Times also ran a report about Food Lifeline, who raised their wages up to $25 an hour for their team members, which is something to be celebrated. Now, I will say in the article, the folks from Food Lifeline said that they didn't release a press release because they didn't want to lay down the gauntlet and have it be a challenge to other nonprofit organizations, which kind of felt like a wink and a nod to another nonprofit organization that may have gone public about that. But I will say, like, a large nonprofit like Food Lifeline raising their wages is another invitation to others in the community that believe that it's not possible to say, well, look, it is possible, and we can pay people more. I mean, how ridiculous is it to work at a place like Food Lifeline, where prior to this wage increase, you very likely could be benefiting from the food that Food Lifeline is providing because you're making less than a wage that doesn't enable you to get groceries and feed your family, right? These are great movements that are happening, and I'm really excited to see them beginning to come to fruition in our region.
Well, I agree. And as somebody who works at a nonprofit, I will tell you that I was very much appreciative of the fact that this nonprofit said, we're going to start off right. We're going to have this amount. And people that got hired were like, whoa, okay, what? Yeah. Like, it was almost unprecedented, right? But it was no need to talk about that because ultimately that was the work that was being done when we talk about equity.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I love that this is happening. There does need to be a wave. There does need to be a nudge. And there needs to be a nudge, not just to nonprofits, but to the philanthropy side, to understand when you are giving to these nonprofits with regard to their capital budget and what they need in terms of their fiscal year, you need to be able to say, you know what, we understand that in order for you to do your job properly, you need the amount of staff and you do need competitive wages in order to compete with the brilliance that these corporate America, entities are able to compete with. So, part of this is that there needs to be a huge, strong message to them. Absolutely. And I talk about this in terms of unrestricted funding. You don't have to guide us and micromanage us and hold our hands to tell us how to do what we know how to do best. That for me is where I think that the message also can resonate, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've watched philanthropy over the course of these last few months lean in a brand new way. There's new conversations being had. They get it. And reports like this one commissioned by King County help to move things forward because now they can have more than just like the anecdotal to support it, right? Here's it in numbers. Here is it evidenced in a way that can become palatable for folks that need those types of foundational principles to make moves to go forward. And I encourage folks in the nonprofit or for-profit sector, if you are making changes as it pertains to your wage, please don't be quiet about it. The reason why I need you to say something and to say it publicly is because we need to encourage others that it's okay. Like, it's absolutely okay to pay people a living wage. It's absolutely okay to honor the humanity of those that are serving in those spaces. It's absolutely okay to value the labor of folks who are serving in the most vulnerable pockets of our community. We struggle with having to deal with the same issues over and over and over again. And we wonder, where is the end to this cycle? Well, if we paid people for their brilliance, maybe we'd get their brilliance and begin to see an end of these harmful cycles that necessitate the existence of our nonprofits in the first place. It's not that complicated, but what it does take is courage. So I applaud the courage of the folks at Food Lifeline. I applaud the courage of those who I've spoken to over the past several months who are on their journey to make these changes for the people who are serving within their causes. I celebrate y'all, but please make sure you're saying it out loud, because behind you are several other organizations that are waiting for someone to say it's okay, for them to have the courage to do what we all know what is right, which is to honor the humanity of those who are serving within our causes.
Oh, so true, brother. I mean, this is something too. I want to talk about this because in Seattle, we have the propensity to celebrate the fact that the data was collected, not an actual solution on the other side of the data. So I don't want us to stay stuck there when it comes to celebration. I really want to make that clear as well. But we do have something else to celebrate. I see you with your Mariners hat on. Baseball's coming back. You got a smile on your face.
This isn't a freeze frame. I just want to hold this moment. Baseball is back. Now, for some of you, baseball is a very boring way to spend several hours of your afternoon. For those of us like, it's an opportunity to dive deep and have great conversations, be entranced by a game that has so much history behind it, and to get some really great inexpensive hot dogs at Big Al's Hot Dogs. Make sure you stop at Big Al's, because if you don't go to Big Al's and get your Seattle dog there, you're not supporting the community. Black everything. But yeah, baseball's back. Super excited. Can't wait for opening night, which is going to be, I think, April 17th. If I got the date right, I might get it wrong, but it's against Houston. Can't wait for it to be here. Spring training just started. It's exciting. You know, we may not have a quarterback in Seattle, and that's a whole thing. And we may not have a middle linebacker, but you know what we do have? We have baseball.
There we go. We have baseball. As always, Sean Goode, brother, it's so great to have you with us today. Always bring in that great energy. I mean, you're Sean Goode, but your energy is above good. It is great. It is exceptional. Thank you, as always, for joining us on the Morning Update Show. And I'm excited to be with you later on tonight.
Man, I will see you tonight, fresh after my nap.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, you guys heard it right there from Sean Goode. We're going to be having a great time tonight. And as always, he's bringing the good energy up in here. I get to close the show out with our guy, Big O, right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
These hands bear fruit and witness through muscle and memory to that which cannot be taught. Passing down the blueprint of flowers and wringing waters from the root, bringing nourishment to the masses. There is no grade that can attain the heat that we sustain. A path unclear to most, and still we press on. We flip survival into revival again and again. Be reminded of where you come from, for life is the foundation of every generation.
Always a good time right here on the Morning Update Show. Welcome back, everybody. Get to bring my guy Big O back in. Let's close out right. What's up, Big O? Great show today.
Man, great show today. You know what I'm saying? Me, I already know I'm going to see some Mariners games with. So that's all good there with Sean. And man, what he talked about too is like, come on, livable wage. You can do it. You can do it. You know, if anybody can do it, Seattle and King County can. We could definitely make that happen. And Kaka, Hungera Sana. I am boy. Hungera means congratulations, Sana. So I said very much congratulations. Hungera Sana, boss. You know, hey, it's my brother here, man. He has his book. He's doing it, huh?
One Vibe Africa is just amazing. I mean, when we were playing the Madaraka Festival commercials, I'm like, hold up, they got some
Yeah.
heavy hitters in the building, and it was a phenomenal commercial. I'm like, that
Yeah.
is like, it's top notch, man. So
You-
I love today's episode, being able to talk to those two brothers.
You know, we're short on time today. Let me get this camera here. We're short on time, but people who know me, they know that I've continuously said that I grew up in an African media house. Like, I was grown when I went over there to the continent, to Dar es Salaam and to Nairobi. But man, anything that you see here today out of Converge, this work ethic and this hustle and everything else, it came from African media houses. You know what I'm saying? Clouds TV, Clouds FM, Choice FM, Coconuts TV, Coconut FM, Capital FM, Citizen TV, even DSTV, Star Times, working with all of these TV groups on the continent of Africa. So like I say, Karibu Numbani, Hongera Sana Bosi. Okay, so 1 week from today, 6:00, man, Joey Nix. We're gonna be talking about Art of the Matter, episode 5. There it is, right there. That's teed up. Joey Nix. He's got a great exhibit going on right now over in Belltown, and Takia and Brady McAtee shot an episode, and we're gonna have that next week at 6 p.m.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Art of the Matter has been really groundbreaking in the way that they, are doing it. Shout out to T-Dub and Brady, everybody that's involved, all of the amazing artists. I'm glad it's going to be airing next week.
All right, and tonight.
Yes.
There it is, right there. And also we got the lineup for the whole rest of the week up there. So we've got Kimberly, and and we've been graphics people, so we made sure who to put first.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? On all, because usually I'm like, yeah, Sean and Kimberly, good, but we knew how to put first in all of these. So tonight is Kimberly and Sean. Will you tell us about the rest of the week?
Yeah, this week we also have Danica and Blaze are going to be talking about their love language and the way that they've connected. Wednesday, my great friend Amanda and Tarek. Amanda and I go way back, all the way to elementary school. So love to hear a little bit more about their story, even though I know them well. Thursday, we have Latrice and Kenny in the building. And for any Bulldog who was there between 95 and 99 or 96 and 2000, like myself, we know Latrice and Kenny well. Their love has been blossoming since high school days. And then we get to close the week out with Aaron and Quinn. It's going to be so beautiful to talk to Aaron and Quinn too, because Aaron is so steeped in community. For those of you that know the Village of Hope, you know Aaron Bryant Thomas well. So I'm so glad that we'll be able to talk to her and her hubby at the end of the week.
Hello.
Yeah.
This is Black love. This is the uplift of Blackness. This is what we do here in Black Media Matters. And, we made a commitment in 2022 to go far, deep, and wide in our Blackness. And you know what I'm saying? And Blackness can come in on the surface in many different ways. You know what I'm saying? But it all ends up in the same space. What Simon does is totally different than what Sean Goode does, which is totally different than what Ali does.
Yeah.
But we all end up in this same space, which is uplifting Blackness in our community and amplifying our voice. So, I hope people, that's what I'm saying. It's like, we get a lot of emails and man, we love everybody. And I just want people to know that we have to. A lot of people are like, well, man, how come you're not covering this and we're covering that? And our news stuff is coming back online probably like the next week or two. We're revamping a lot of our news, but be prepared for just more Black news stories or things that impact Black people. And that's the role that we can play here. Converge kind of started to put paint where it ain't. And the ain't was coverage of our issues, especially in a video format. So that's where we're at, and we're loving it.
And I gotta say, I mean, even to be honest, I came to with this concept a while back, and it was something that I was inspired by, as I just told Sean Goode, hearing stories out there in our community and really being able to do our part to counter these negative narratives of Black families and broken homes and all. Man, we're going to be showing y'all the love. We're going to be flooding the love. And I gotta say, brother, you I get a little emotional. You really came through. Like you said, man, let's do it. You didn't have no pauses, no breaks. You said we need to elevate Black love. So I just thank Converge, and I thank you for believing in this concept, in this pilot that we're able to launch this week.
Oh yeah, and we forgot to mention here, so I'll mention it now. Big shout out to our partners on this, the State Hotel. So Sean, you and Kimberly, you guys get a free night up there at the State Hotel.
Look.
Yeah, and also presidential transportation. So they're gonna pick you up in the big Denali. Yeah. They're gonna pick you up in the big truck, the black truck. You know what I'm saying? Bring you downtown, take you back, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so powered by the State Hotel. Thanks to them, they've been a great partner for us. So you know what I'm saying? You get away. And presidential transportation.
That's just a real kudos to you understanding a concept and just bringing so much more to it. So I got to give Omari public love for that, because Omari has been working hard. Thank you so much, brother.
Hey man, we're just trying to get in where we fit in. We're a few minutes over time, but we're for a great reason. It was a great show. Any last words before we get out of here, Trey?
For me, always be inspired. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing here. We're bringing guests on that are doing great work. We want you guys to be inspired. I always want you to understand your voice added to these solutions is going to make them that much better. Please see yourself as a part of the solution.
All right, good stuff. Remind everybody tonight, 8 p.m. tonight, Black Love, When We Met, going live with Trey Holiday, Kimberly first, and Sean Goode. They'll be here, man. Definitely tap in. And you know what, man, when we talk about sharing and news and everything else, let's be intentional about sharing Black love. We share a lot of stuff here, just not even Converge, but just across. People always share. Let's share Black love. On that note, though, we're going to get out of here and get ready for tonight. We got some Shayna Shepherd over there. All right. And as usual, we're going to leave you with some hope from Shayna Shepherd. Until tomorrow, go forward in your purpose. Go forward in your humanity. Peace.
What do I see through a lens of fear? 1,000 little steps to go. What do I fear after all these years? Lord knows I don't even know. I've been running on the edge of a sundial, sleeping in the shadow. I've been begging you to see me, then hiding beyond the unreachable. Looking out left on a right-hand turn, just trying to make a deal. A lazy shoes and love is a love dancer. That's the kind of food that heals. I've been searching for the end of an era, waiting to be ready. The world is bigger than a moment. Be steady, that's how you can feel it's real. But I feel naked in my new clothes, 'cause I got you.